I have something I'd like to show you that came across my YouTube feed from another channel I watch called Dakota of Earth. I actually haven't seen many of this guy's videos. It was just a channel that was recommended to me by a couple other travelers. Weird spirituality. I like it. He covers topics that not a lot of people cover on YouTube. But today I want to talk about this post. And it's interesting because this is actually a post that he shared from his friend, this guy Rainbow Dharma. So this wasn't even written by Dakota of Earth. It wasn't written by me. It was written by, someone else's someone else. So we're like 2 degrees of separation removed. But the point is, it's an interesting message, and I thought it was worth sharing with my audience and discussing for a little bit. Check this out. Do you like living in a commercial? I love that opening sentence. Do you like living in a commercial? It gets you thinking, For myself, I personally despise the state of things. Each day I see that the effects of digitalization on us has created this perpetual commercial space. Most of what appears online and these social media apps is basically people becoming consumable products. So let's pause for a second. What does that mean, becoming consumable products? Because, the first part, when it says, do you like living in a commercial? To me, that gets me thinking about how increasingly our human interactions with our loved ones, with those close to us, with strangers on the internet, it's all being mediated through this social media space, this digital space where, the most important updates from people who are dearest to you, like your cousin just had a baby and you just found out about it through Facebook because instead of calling like 100 different people, your cousin just posts a picture on Facebook. Everyone close to them will see that update. There it is. You're on your phone. You see it. It's meaningful. It's amazing. And then right below it is just this ad for like some weight loss product or some new toothpaste that they think you should be buying. It's like if your friend had actually called you or your cousin actually called you, you wouldn't have that commercial right below it. But because it's all mediated, or of course if you had a real conversation in real life sitting in a cafe, there wouldn't be an ad in the middle of that conversation. But when everything's mediated through social media, all these moments, all these memories, you're just constantly being advertised to. And that's what I think they mean by, do you like living in a commercial? The commercialization of everything as we move into this digital space. But what about that new sentence, people becoming consumable products? That's interesting. Like I have a YouTube channel. Am I a consumable product? I mean, I have ads playing before these videos. I make money from ads. That's the only way I can sustain myself and put the amount of time and energy I do into this content to try and treat it like a job, is to have ads. But am I guilty of perpetuating this commercial space that I'm now criticizing? Am I part of this system that's always trying to sell you things that maybe you don't really need? Let's keep going. Everything is being reduced to advertising/entertainment. I think that's very scary. Nonetheless, it's all part of some sort of act of creation through destruction. Whatever this bubble of Western civilization/hyper-individuality is, I love how he calls it a bubble. Yeah, Western civilization, that's just a bubble waiting to explode. It's been growing for 1,000 years or so, and it's starting to pop. It's going to be a big pop, like a sun exploding and becoming a black hole. So anyway, my little rerun advertisement is the same thing you can probably guess already. We should plant a lot of food, and this will act as a kind of insulation to soften the impact of a collapsing industrial society. Okay, hold up. So now we're moving into a different theme. Now we've left behind the commercialization of everything, and we're entering into the collapse of everything. Are we collapsing? Is everything falling apart? Is there any hope for this society we've been building? Maybe that's a topic for another day, but interesting connection, how we're talking about hyper individuality, this bubble of civilization. It's like if you truly believe civilization is a bubble and it's popped and there's nothing to replace it, well then yeah, you should probably plant some food and you should probably prepare for the worst if you are truly on board with that. Instead of just sitting back, I guess his point is on the one hand it sounds very pessimistic. He's saying like, hey, this whole civilization thing, it's falling apart. You all see it, it's crumbling, it's falling. We need to do something. Right? So that's pessimistic, but the we need to do something part, that's like optimistic. That's like, hey, life is shit, but we have solutions. As one civilization crumbles, we can meet it halfway, so to speak. It can fall apart into a new one. And that's the hope that he's talking about. A new civilization that is rising up to replace it. This is better than simply allowing insane chaos to emerge as modernity breaks down, ecosystems collapse. I mean, if anyone's looking at the climate recently, he does have a point about ecosystems collapsing. Populations fight each other over scarce supplies and resources. Well, yeah, if there's more and more people and we're running out of things like clean water, he's kind of convincing me here. Maybe planting your own food isn't a bad idea. Anyway, we start now building a network of abundant ecosystems. We teach each other real skills to live off the land and endure the challenges of reality. If you want to join in this, please do. It is a wide open welcome. Nothing else is as relevant as this. Prepare yourselves for what is coming our way. Plant as many food forests and gardens as possible. Our lives don't have to be these shallow and vain social media commercials. Bring it back to the beginning. What a phrase, eh? This guy knows how to write. These shallow and vain social media commercials. We were made for eternity and cosmic bliss. This is merely a sharp bump along the distant journey of endless transformation and creation. Peace. So we got some big topics here, and we're talking about cosmic bliss. We're talking about the collapse of society. Those are big topics, without a doubt. And if you guys want to hear my thoughts on that, if I think society actually is collapsing, I would say generally I'm not as my own opinion isn't as alarmist as this guy's. Like I think humans are very resilient, and I suppose he also thinks humans are resilient. But his form of resilience is like planting food. Like we need to prepare for a giant collapse. I don't think things will collapse as much as we will just kind of mold into something new. As the prices of things like meat and gasoline continue to exponentially rise, like less and less people will drive gas-based cars. Less and less people will eat meat. And then maybe in a couple generations, the idea of having a steak dinner will be like some luxury that only hyper-rich people can afford, or maybe everyone will be vegetarian by then anyway, and they'll be like, wow, people would just eat steak every week? Like, how did you do that? So I don't know if it's a collapse as much as like a readjustment, like water flowing into something new. But as for the commercialization of everything, like that's something I think about a lot. I think about a lot how I simultaneously hate all the ads on social media, but I require them to exist in this space and create content in this space. Because what is the alternative? Like people got addicted to a free internet, essentially. You pay for you pay some company to like hook up your wires to the internet service. You pay for an internet service, but the content for the most part is free, but the payoff is everything is a commercial. Long before this, when I was living in Paris, I used to ride the metro to work, especially in the winter. In the warmer months, I would ride a bicycle, but in the cold months, I would ride the metro. And they have these little ads in the metro, and I remember I took a picture of it. Actually, I wonder if I could find that photo. But someone had basically covered up an ad with their own white sign where they had written something. It was in French, but the point of it was can you imagine a world free from advertisements. I think they had a slightly more poetic way of saying it. It was like powerful when you're like looking up and you just see an ad and it's like, can you imagine a world without advertisements? You're like, whoa. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Just to like everyone here sitting here in this train together, getting where we have to go, not being advertised to, not feeling like we need something, we need to buy something, we need to improve ourselves by like seeing this new movie, buying this new car, putting this new cream on our skin because the person in the advertisement skin looks better than our skin and we feel insecure about that. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? Every single day, all the time, getting advertised to. What do you think? Is it possible to have a world without ads, or is that just the cost of living in some consumer society and we get a lot of cool things around us, but you know, if you want your iPhone, if you want your computer, if you want your TV, if you want you know, a nice bed to sleep on, someone's got to advertise it. I wonder. I don't have any answers. I just have questions for this one. But I'd like to know your answers, I'd like to know what you think, and if you agree that our whole lives are kind of becoming a commercial. See you next time, YouTube. Don't forget to watch the commercial at the end of this video. Peace.